So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another of Transforming Assessment and eAssessment Scotland Agility Online Conference. So today is the 19th of September. I did remember to update the date. Okay, so today's session is a look at how the Freie University in Berlin run their e-exam session, and by the looks of it, 10 years is a long time for e-exams in this day and age. So I will introduce here Alexander and Nicolas, who are from the Freie University in Germany. Alex, would you like to start speaking?
Yes, good morning from Berlin. Thank you very much for inviting us to that session. We are going to show within the next 40 to 50 minutes what we did during the last few years and what kind of approaches we tried to take and to find out what is the most suitable solution for us. And we tried bring your own device approaches as well during the last few years. But in the meantime, we took a tiny different path for that, and this is something that we're going to show. And we're also going to show some parts that are dealing with the rationalization effects, qualitative assurance, and so on. And I would like to pass over to my boss Nicolas at first. He's going to say some words about our institute and how all that stuff with e-examinations began to happen here at the institute.
Okay, good morning to everybody. I am Nicolas Apostolopoulos. I am very pleased that I will be introducing our e-examinations concept to your conference. And also I would like to say, first of all, that I feel as being in a type of examination, because I'm not using this type of conference every day. So I have to get used to it. And as you all know, many people are talking about things which they are not doing themselves, and this is of a disadvantage. I hope first my English will be good enough so that I can be understandable and also understand your questions and give you replies. And also I hope that with the technology that we have at hand now, so for instance we have only one microphone and one headset, we cannot connect two headsets simultaneously to our equipment. So it's, as I said, it's like a kind of examinations, a hybrid examinations, digital and non-digital, and I will try to do my best. Also, I see at the transformers at the first slide, the Scotland 2014 eAssessment, Scotland 24. So we have 55% of happy people from Scotland today, and 45% a little bit unhappy, but this is another point. So good morning, everybody, and as I said, I am a professor for media pedagogy, as we say in Germany. You could call it also educational technology. And I have studied economics and computer science, and I'm leading the Center for Digital Systems of the Freie Universität Berlin. That is an institution that is doing, that is working on teaching, learning, and research, especially with digital media. And our specialization is in e-learning, e-research, which we started a few years ago, and also multimedia-based, web-based applications. So when we talk about e-learning, and we need to give technological support for doing teaching, then of course somehow we need to address the point of examination. And the reason that we started this type of examination, I will tell you right now. Now, first of all, I would like to say one word about the Freie Universität. So when we talk Freie, it's not a free university in terms of everybody can get in. Actually, it's one of the 9 so-called excellent universities in Germany, research on a research basis. So we belong to the Ivy League of Germany, and free means that the Freie Universität Berlin was created and introduced in the year 1948 a few years after the Second World War, and when the traditional University of Berlin was in the inside part of the city, and this was not a free in terms of political freedom of expression, freedom of democracy, and so people that left this traditional university and came to the western part of the city, and with American money they created the Freie Universität. So that is the free university. Now, we have four topics that we would like to talk with you. The first two topics I will deal with them, and I will present them, and the other two topics Alexander, who is the man in charge for our e-examination unit, and he will talk about them himself. And of course, if there's something that either you don't understand or you have questions, just give an indication on the board, and we will try to answer. Now, as I said, the idea of starting with e-examinations was a very specific topic. When we started to deal or to work with digital learning environments, we started with some examples came from the field of economics, and then we thought we should do something that is complicated, namely teach statistics, because many people here in Germany, when they do their bachelor and they come to a field like economics or political science, and they go and say, and they are faced with the fact that they have to pass statistic examinations, and they are horrified about that. Many of them leave their studies because they cannot pass statistics. And as the curricula require the understanding of statistics, so it was a big challenge to say, can we teach statistics in a different way? We did then the statistical education, as you see on the slide, that is the project New Statistics. You can find that in our website. If you, we will send you the name of the website so that you can have a look at this. And this is the New Statistics has also not only the contents of statistics curricula that have to be learned, but we have created also a learning tool, an interactive learning tool, which is called Statistical Lab. And this is the idea of having problem-based learning real in action. And we believe that especially when you when we make heavy use of technology, it is not enough just to explain things give the material on the internet, but you should also give a way to the students that they can make the exercises and can solve problems. So to solve problems with statistics, you need, of course, a statistical environment, as all you know. SPSS and R and other such technical systems are not very good, or at least in the past. It was the beginning of 2000 when we started that. It was not good enough to teach the statistics with them. They were just calculating tools. So we created, from the point of view of the pedagogy and from the didactics, we created a statistical lab where you could get a problem, and you would have to solve the problem interactively with the help of this computer. And now the dilemma came, and the problem came, having done all that during the lecture, so you have during the whole semester, so we had the lectures, we had the statistical lab that the students had to do all their work and deliver solutions with the help of technology and with the help of calculators. But then the question was, how do we examine? How do we take the examination of that? Because usually the examinations you need a piece of paper, and you go to the examination, have a piece of paper and a pencil, and your statistical lab is gone. So actually you are forced somehow to learn in a specific way A, and you have to take an examination in a way like B or Z. So that was that was the problem. While we said we cannot use teaching, we cannot use technical and digital methods for teaching, and not make any use of those methods while the examination. So we created an examination tool that was used as a type of open book scenario. That means that the students would get a problem, and they can have the books and whatever they need, but they would pass the exams only if they solve the problems in the right way. And they have many ways to solve a statistical problem, so we follow the steps. And this has not been done automatically, but this has been done manually. So in other words, the necessity came that we create this kind of examination for with the help of the statistical lab, which is an application that is used in it is the statistical lab. You can use it in the German language or in English language. It's a self-contained application. So it is still working now, and you can test it if you like. Now, and the first, and you see here, if you see the slide, you see the cafeteria of the Department of Statistics, where students usually go and drink their coffee. So we modified that, and we said, go ahead and solve the questions and solve the problems in order to pass and get your credits. And if you look carefully at the slide, then you will see that there are different types of computer over there. So the students would bring their own device by that time. Of course, we had an open book examination, which means that we weren't scared that some people would try to cheat. By the way, they don't have even time to cheat. Either if they want to cheat, then it takes so much time to organize this type of cheating, and of course with the type of a problem where the students need to get involved to solve the problem. So they wouldn't be able to make this type of cheating that is usual. Of course, they could pass the problem to another person outside of the examination room. By that time, I think the computers were in a LAN, in a wireless LAN that was closed to other connections, so they could not go outside of the system. But so this was, I don't want to say easy to do. And now I get the question, how do we prevent the cheating by students sharing their solutions? Well, there were around, I think, 90 students that had to take the examination. The half of them could pass within the room. So we had, first of all, we had a person that was present, so the students were not alone. So there was somebody who was the supervisor looking if they are talking together. Now, if the students would use USB, that could be a type of cheating, but they would have to solve the problem, and then you go to you give the USB to the other person. It is not easy to do all that. To share the solutions it was not easy. We did not have a problem with working together, as I said, because there was supervision. Now, the other question that is on the chat asking, what about Blackboard? Within Blackboard, we had all the organization of the courses. The statistical lab is a system for itself, so it was not connected to the Blackboard system. It was just an application that you can start, and this application is self-contained, so you you get the problem and you have to solve it, and then you deliver the result through some technology that we have implemented within Blackboard, and a system that was helping for delivering the solutions, and that is how it worked. This was quite successful, and by that way we had yes, the question that you posed, they need to include their working steps. Yes, they did, because this is the way that the statistical lab works. You get the problem, and you have to make a decomposition of the problem in steps that can be calculated by the system. So so you have to explain how do you analyze the problem, what statistical steps you take, and then how to solve those statistical steps with the help of the modules that are included into the statistical lab, so that the person that looks at the solution can follow all the steps. So there is no, and if you see, of course, two identical solutions, for instance, then you know that two persons at least, and the persons are identified when they deliver the solution. So you see that two persons have exactly the same solution. And this is something that is the probability of having independently done exactly the same solutions is because of the nature of the statistical lab is very little. So then you have cheated. And this happened, yes, this never happened, as Alexander said. Now, considering the examination, so I was, from that time on, I was really, and I appreciate the seminar or the webinar of Matthew, I was informed of having the people to bring their own devices. That was my dream, and also Alexander's dream, and so we started to see what can we do to solve this problem. So we started to evaluate general e-examination solutions, to look if we can use normal, so not dedicated halls to have laptop examination, and to identify the legal topics. You should know that Germany is one of the countries where most things are forbidden. I'm Greek and I live in Germany. Alexander is laughing here, but to tell you the truth, anything is regulated here. So and interesting enough, even all the people, even from the legal department, told us how forbidden all that sort of things are that we are trying, but no one student opposed. In fact, the students were really satisfied and were excited to learn statistics in that way and to go to the examinations in this way. They did not think, really, maybe we are wrong, but I think we know because of the examination answers and the papers that they delivered to be examined, we know that there was practically no cheating. There was no question of how can we cheat. They were occupied with the idea that if they learn in a different way, they can test themselves during the lectures of one semester, and then go to the examinations and prove that really they wanted to learn and wanted to get the best grade without thinking about cheating and so on. This is for massive courses, of course, a problem. So we thought we should continue that with the European Bologna process, and to do also additional studies, not only statistics. So this holistic e-learning up to the examination, I talked about this, and make the students to bring the laptops. So we asked the university to give us rooms just with electricity power and with LAN, well, not wireless LAN, so local area network, cabled, and so that we could prevent the students from connecting to other systems. And here is a short here's a short overview of the rooms that we used, and we had around 300 seats. And whenever we needed, and we had around 170 PCs installed, and for the others, for the rest of the seats, we could use those students that would come with their own device. Interesting enough, here you can look how they look like, but this is not important. But here you see them using their own machines and doing, last time not, again, examination in statistics, but we have also done in education and in other points. Let me see your comments. Oh, it goes fast. Yes, we haven't. We are not using wireless networks, but we use only wired. And now, let me tell you the reaction of the students about bringing their own devices. A number of them were very happy about this. Another number of students said, I don't want to come with my own device. And it was very interesting. The reason that they gave is, if the device is not working well, or if something happens, or, I don't want to risk that. So I prefer to have the university's device so that I know they are responsible, the university is responsible for delivering the examination tools, not only the software, but also the hardware. This was astonishing, because I thought that all of them would like and would prefer to use their own device, where they are used to the keyboard, they know how are the settings, and so on and so on. But as I said, not all of them were happy. And by the time, 2008, remember that, and having students from the Department of Education, not many of them did have their own device. Not many of them did have laptops in Germany and in Berlin by that time. This is different now. Today, almost anyone has everybody has his own device, and this makes things easier. Yes, as I said, the question of Rebecca, there have been problems with different keyboards. We had to cope with that, but interestingly enough, also the specifications, some run faster, etc., but the speed is not important. What is important is to be used to the technical environment you use. So you start something and the mouse is working in a different way, or you have spelling correction on, and the machines that you are getting in, you don't have spelling correction. So this is indeed something that we believe it is not easy to offer identical systems to all of them that can be also accepted. On the other hand, we had more security, and we still have more security with the machines that we have today. So let me see. Yes, okay. Now the advantages of bringing your own device, you know them better than me, or as well as we do, that the students, we have reduced hardware costs. We don't need a special room. We have fewer PC pools that we required, and also they can use the examination they can use the system wherever they want. They can test with the system and get a very friendly environment for them. The hardware heterogeneity is a problem, and the technical configuration is also a problem. And we have also legal concerns. For instance, for students that are not used to technical devices and can't type fast. But for some of them, students that are not typing fast, we give them a time credit and say, okay, if you're slow, then we give you another 10% or 5% of time in order to be able to do your examinations well. And finally, there's one thing that I would like to say about the students, that they did not feel very well to they didn't feel very well to be in a room which is a usual room. Students prefer, that is our experience, to go somewhere for the examinations. And this to go somewhere should be a room that is silent, that is somehow well equipped, regardless of whether they bring their own devices or not. But the fact that if you go to the cafeteria or if you go to a lecture room and say, now take your laptops or your notebooks out of your box, and now we start the examinations. They don't feel like being in examinations. So we thought from the psychological reasons, it would be good to have a nice room, as I said, regardless of the own devices or university brought devices. And so we decided to create, first of all, a room that would contain about 100 computers. We choose a German-based software that is doing well with examination environment. It is proven that cheating is not, I would say, not easy to do. And between 2012 and 13, we started this new system. Now that is the way how it is designed. So it is really a kind of room where technical equipment is there for a specific purpose. Now I go through the ways that it has been at the beginning, and you can have the room in 3 different portions, and by using lights you can have a red part of the room, a green part of the room, or a yellow part of the room. So if you can run more than one examination in parallel. Here you see it at our first time. And for these rooms, we decided to keep to have our own devices, so the university devices, and not to bring their own. Yes, now a few replies to the questions. Yes, the questions are randomized. Cheating is not that easy because also the software records anything that is happening, and the system is so-called closed. It is a web-based system, of course. The questions that we are offering are also full text questions that can, and also multiple choice questions with different types of options. You can use also media. You can have pictures that can be selected. You can drop. You can point and click on some points that are on the examinations sheet, and we do. And so we have a flexible tool for creating a good examination values. Now there are some questions about statistics. I will talk to you about that a little bit later because we need to go further with our presentation. So you can see here that we have around 1.5 people, scientific employees, means full-time scientific personnel that are working with and managing the examination center, plus 2 part-time students. And the examinations now, we have managed to put the examination into the legal system of the university. So it is now not a type of experiment, but everyone who wants to do computer-based examinations is entitled to do so. So this is now the stage where we are now, and as you see, the advantages is we have a good infrastructure and we have configurable exams, and we use the systems. We can download the systems and we can refresh the systems whenever we want. We have a central software distribution facility, So the maintenance of the system is highly automated, and but the disadvantages, of course, are that we have a high investment because of the room. But the room is independent of anything, so you can use it for whatever you want. But we have learned that the people like to be in a silent room or with silent equipment, with keyboards that are not, some of them are loud and are slow, are silent. So. Of course, someday we will need to address the problem of how do we deal only with 150 systems. And as you see here, our curve about how many examinations we will do is increasingly it's very high. And as you see here, this small of drop is only because we didn't include the numbers. It's only January to August. No? So now it's time to pass over to Alexander, and thank you very much. I will be here for replying to other questions that you might have.
Yeah, thanks, Nicolas. There are some questions that you posed. So the photos that you saw from the laptop room, the laptop rooms were mainly used for the statistical exams with using an open book scenario. It means the students had to address a problem of a certain case study. So we didn't find any similarities in that situation. And since the Wi-Fi, all the hotspots were turned off, and the only connection to the server was to the server where the solutions will be uploaded. There was no way of getting connected through the net or anything, besides, of course, mobile phones or anything. But so the whole network was kind of secured during those examinations. Afterwards, when we also applied that concept to the educational science, we also used a lockdown browser. But since the heterogeneity of those laptops is so high that secure browser always had kind of issues with about like 5 to 10% of the students, that was a reason why we also used the normal PC pools to have a fallback solution in case the laptop doesn't work in the computer-based examination situation. And there was another question. Yeah, there is a link to the software that we're using. So we originally used an own design software that used the back end of Blackboard to put in the solutions, and then we switched over to the L+ system. I will search for the link and give it, put it into the chat box a little bit later. In the statistics, the questions were not randomized. That wasn't necessary because it was a case study to do, and there was no need to randomize anything. And with all the other examinations that we're doing now in the L+ Test Studio environment, so question can be randomized and are randomized, and also the answers within can be randomized. And to answer the question with the with how the answers are corrected and marked, well, it depends on the situation. When you're using automized questions with multiple choice and so on, they can be automized, graded and so on, but questions where free constructed responses have to be made, like free texts and so on, where the students have to create or design answers, so the lecturer also has to read the text. But there is a big advantage in reading it, so that I can show in a slide in a couple of minutes. We try to find out what are the benefits of using a computer also for text-based examinations. Yeah, to be as well, communication between the students remains an issue. Yeah, but this is also in any situation, in any exam, the problem that we have to address, and therefore supervisors and lecturers have to be still in the examination hall, at least in Germany, to make a legal valid examination. So we cannot do distant examinations without supervision. Okay, so what is now? What are the topics of our e-examination unit that we set up? Yeah, there are kind of a lot of different topics that we're dealing with: logistics, didactics, psychology, legal questions, and data privacy, quality, efficiency, and technology. So the funny thing is, we originally started the whole approach to exams from a logistical and technological way, and also didactics. And in the meantime, the whole thing has gone upside down. And for any single step that we make into the future, we first try to find out what are the legal questions that are included in going into that direction. That is one of the reasons why we are not doing bring your own device examinations at the moment with the laptops when they are only connected via Wi-Fi, because Wi-Fi is technologically not stable enough, at least from the view of a lawyer here in Germany. So what are the logistical questions that we faced? So the original questions for 2007 were how can we deal with groups of participants of up to 600 people? You saw that we had only seats for a max of 300 persons, but we had lots of studies where more than 500 or 600 students were attending, like educational science, economic science, political science, psychology, and so on. So we had to find logistical ways to deal with that. And we found ways like splitting the groups and so on, and that also brought us to the next step of issues, because when I split a group into an A group and a B group, I also have to deal with the situation that the second group needs to have different questions, because otherwise they could benefit from meeting one of the first group participants, and then he could hand over the questions and so on. And in Germany, the legal issue would appear that says equal treatment has been violated for those students in that situation. Yeah, and in 2012, we also now have to deal with groups of participants of up to 3,000 people. This is a medical science. They're doing the progress test. How can we split up those examination groups while having only 230 seats available? Yeah, quarantine the groups. Okay, so we could do that, but the thing is, we cannot put them under arrest, you know, so that would violate their human rights in the end, and they could also can apply for the examination. You can in Switzerland. Okay, so then, so it's in Germany. It's not possible at the moment. Okay, well, yeah. Yeah, I know that the students didn't like it. I would have expected that. The thing is, some of the students just come into the examinations, check the questions, and see if they can answer them. And if they cannot answer them, they just go out of the examinations after the examination after 10 minutes. So it means I have to set them, separate them for the next 2 hours, which is, in my opinion, so I'm not a lawyer, not into legal things, but I think this is a legally problematic approach. Anyway, so we don't do that, but we approach the examination thing and topic also from the didactics. So how should the learning contents be examined, and are we testing factual knowledge or apply knowledge to a certain case? We tried all that. In the bachelor studies, most of the tests are more oriented in factual knowledge testing, and the master examinations are more into applying the knowledge to a case. You know, the types of exams, this is something that I don't need to deal with. We also needed to deal and to address psychological things and topics. It means exam nerves, reducing the media discontinuity, coming from the fact that the students were already using all those e-learning instruments during the semester, but stopped using it in the examination situation. So by using the computer also in the examination situation, they are still in the same workflow that they were into during the semester. Yeah, technology is not reliable enough, exactly. So that is really also the reason why we decided for not going into the Wi-Fi thing, at least at the moment. It will be stable in the future, but at the moment it is not stable enough to deal with that prejudice here. Yeah, and we also created an environment optimized for concentrated attention. So the examination hall uses specifically silent material. So the keyboards are very silent, and the whole room has been optimized for concentrated attention. And we also have standardized workflows, rhetorical workflows, in case this PC crashes or in case the evacuation of a building has to be done during an emergency, because we are located in the building for inorganic chemistry. So emergency or at least fire alerts are happening, well, at least once a month, and it needs to be addressed that we know how to deal in that situation with the students, that they remain calm and so on. And we also have standardized workflows for server crash, but never happened because the infrastructure when it comes to this thing is very stable. I can show a tiny slide for that as well. So I see a couple of questions, Matthew, but still have to just, yes, you have a solid Wi-Fi. Okay, so that's good. Yeah, we are not sure with the Wi-Fi thing at the moment. We talked to the central computing unit here at the Freie University, and they said Wi-Fi at the moment is not stable and reliable enough. So anyway, we're going to see how it's going to be during the next few years. We also have to deal with the examination regulation. There is a German lawyer, Professor Nihus, and he said the electronic examination can, in Germany, does not be considered as a type of a written examination. So it means we don't substitute written examinations, but we do something very different. And since he said this and wrote that into his standard book, we had to deal with that thing as well. And as you know, Germany is a federal country. So every federal land within Germany has its specific education regulation. Every university has its own examination and study regulation, and even every faculty and department has also an own individual examination regulation. And this is something that we had to address before being able to institutionalize all that service that we are offering. In the meantime, we addressed all these issues. It was a very hard way, but we are kind of at a very stable situation at the moment when it comes to the legal requirements. And we also have to deal with the data protection things, minimization of personal data, and so on. Storing of examination data takes only place within the L+ system for only 3 semesters. After that, it's going to be archived on long-term DVD archival grade disks. They are tested to be able to hold the data for at least 75 years. and that is sufficient. So they are going to be stored then at the faculty. So we don't have a university-wide storing system for the archived examination at the moment. And you also see a piece of paper. So we didn't make it to eliminate the paper entirely. So the student has to declare that he is able to do the examination, and has to write down his name and his enrollment number and so on, and he has to apply that this computer-based examination scenario is the way he wants to do that examination. Also, from the equal treating point, from a legal term, once a lecturer decided to go with an e-examination, there is no way to split the group into persons who do the examination on a computer and to split the other half of the group to make it on a paper base. So once the lecturer decides the whole group has to do it on an examination, it has to be done. Otherwise, it wouldn't be equal treatment of the person and of the participants. Yeah, quality and efficiency, this is something that is very interesting. Since the introduction of the computer-based examination, we have the possibility of statistical evaluation and examination results. We can view from a macroscopic view the comparison of the students and the cohorts, and more a microscopic approach as well, item total correlation and so on. This is something that could have been done in the earlier times as well, but never was done with groups and cohorts of more than 500 persons. None of the lecturers ever did that. And this is something that comes out of the software very easily, and it's very interesting to grade the quality of the questions as well. Yeah, the fairness definition, Matthew, in Germany comes from the Grundgesetz. It means it is directly derived from the equal treatment and non-discrimination approach here, and this is something that is important, that we have to deal with it. And Rebecca, you posed, well, we didn't have any people who cannot type. So if there are, yeah, if there are those situations with a broken arm or with other disabilities, they fall under a certain special act that the lecturer can offer in that specific situation and a substitution for that examination. This is, but this is only for a tiny amount of people. This is not a general rule that people can choose. Okay. Yeah, the other approach is saving time by being able to read the students' answers. We made some very interesting things. I have to be a little bit faster, I think. And I wanted to show you something very interesting. So we tried to measure the effects, and the funny thing is we did selective response questions in the jurisprudence, and we found out that the saved costs in percent per 100 students could be around 93%. But when we tried to translate this percentage into amounts of money, we found out that the saved amount of money is very low in selected response questions, because those questions are very efficient anyway. It means the time-saving effect in total is very, very low. Yeah, so you can get that study. It's in Germany. It has been released in the e-learning magazine of Hamburg, I suppose like 3 or 4 years ago. Can you read German, Rebecca? Yes? Okay, so then, okay. So yeah, okay, I'm going to provide the link as well. And so we try to find out, so since the Freie University doesn't deal too much with selected response answers, we are mostly oriented in social sciences and economic science, like also like psychology and pedagogics. We tried to find out what the situation with the saving effects are with constructed response questions. And the funny thing is, although you can see at the very bottom of the page, the saved costs and percents are only 33%, the overall amount, since grading those constructed response questions takes a lot longer. The funny thing is that the saved cost per 100 students are a lot higher than selected response answers. That was a very good news for us here, because most of the studies here at the Freie Universities are not examined using selective responses, but constructed responses. And this is when you have to, when it takes like 4 weeks to grade an exam of 500 person and participants, saving 33% of the time is a very, very, very much, is a very big time. And it means that most of the lecturers that I showed this said, oh man, I can, now finally I can read what the students wrote. So it means they can structure the text and they can read it very fluently. There is no additional things where everything gets crossed or anything. So this was a very good news, and we also applied that to find out what would be the break even to amortize a typical question, a typical position that probably I hold at the moment, which was at that time a BAT2 position, and how many of those examinations are required to that this approach of e-examination pays off. And the funny thing is, with the selective response answer questions, we, for a 60-minute examination, we found out we would have to perform like 578 of those examinations during 1 year, which is quite impossible. But only 83 of those examinations have to be performed during a year when I use constructed response questions, because the overall amount of, so the total amount of saved time is a lot higher. No, Matthew, no, it's a little bit, the BAT2A is a bit lower than a teacher. What 55,000 euros a year at that time. No, you don't. Well, yeah, Thomas, Tobias, no, it's wrong. So you save a lot of money with that, because 33% can be translated into like 1,500 euros. You know, it means this is per examinations of 100 students, and this is a very, very good thing to know, because yeah, because you only have to perform a lot fewer of those constructed response examinations. You don't save in a percentage way. You don't save too much money, but in a total, when you view it from a total point of view, you save a lot more. So there are lots of questions. Let me see, and let me get through all of them. Okay, yeah, I will provide the citation of the study as well, of course. The message is a common comment, of course. We, yes, of course, Gizzy, we had that as well here. No, we don't have a building in this calculation. Yeah, no, it's not the building that is. The building is not included in that calculation, of course not. And we only checked the point of the grading, so we didn't check all the other things that are going in hand with that as well. So the preparation of the examination that goes faster and so on. Yeah. Okay. So.
Nicolas again, I'd like to make a comment on all those things. Of course, the building is not calculated because when you need an examination room, not bring your own device or you have the devices installed, is that our belief is out of the experience that a good room is necessary in order to do massive examinations. This might change in a few years, maybe, but at the moment is that what we feel. But there is another thing that is of importance. While in the early years of the 2000, 2005, 2006, there was always the question: are we allowed to force students type in large amounts of text? So if you have questions that have to be answered by the student in order to write a reply for a question that needs to explain things, so he needs to write a long type of text. And this is the one advantage is that you can read the text better, but students would complain that they are not fast enough in typing. Now there's a different observation, completely different. When you go to the students and you say, take a piece of paper and a pen and start writing down your answers, they say, no, I'm used to type everything. So the students request now that we give them the option and to type in their replies and not to write them down with their hand. So the opposite takes place. While in past the using of keyboard was a problem, now the use of your own hand is a problem for the students in order to make the examination. So in other words, we will be more or less forced by the students to make this type of exams, and of course the person who examines that is happy to read the typesetting answer and not the answer that is written with their own handwriting.
Okay, and there is another very interesting thing that this slide that we have now in front of us that it shows. Please. Sorry. You can see the different calculations when it comes to the examination duration in minutes. So only a very few of those examinations are 60 minutes only. So most of the examinations we are performing with the constructed responses are at least 120 minutes or even 180 minutes. And as you saw on the, let's see if I can find it on the other slide that Nicolas already showed, we did 168 of those examinations since February last year. So it means from a point of the investment and the total amount that we have to like amortize, we are on a very stable situation at the moment. And we also surpassed all the original expectations that we did. We originally thought from the experiences of 2011 and 2012 that we might double the numbers. In 2012, without the e-examination center, we performed 2,900 of those e-examinations with 2,900 single tests. And we originally thought that we would be able to do in the examination center like 6,000 of those single tests. But in the end, we made like 8,400, and the increase is still ongoing. So this is something that I think relativates the thing with the initial investment a lot, because all that investment is something that is addressed for at least up to 5 years. I didn't do the exact calculation, but I think we're on a very, very stable situation. Yeah, so this is a summary of what we found during that study, that selective response exams are percentage or have a percentage higher rationalization, but the effectively lower rationalization when it comes to time and translated to money. While the constructed response examinations have a percentage lower rationalization, but effectively higher rationalization when it comes to time and also money. It means it is profitable even more with lower amounts of examinations. Yes, so this is that was the qualitative approach, and we also approached the whole topic from the technological thing, from the technological view. in our opinion, at the moment, the situation with having homogeneous end-user devices makes things from a technological and from a legal point much easier to distribute, because all the devices are equal and nobody can say he got discriminated because his or device didn't work or was a different device than anybody else. So we have extra silent cherry keyboards and so on. I already explained that. And we have LAN connection only, so there's no Wi-Fi available, and you cannot access the examination server from outside the university network. Within this room, there is only web access limited to the examination platform, because we could choose how to configure the infrastructure of that room, and we decided to go for a highly secure network at this point. Yeah, this is the examination platform. We're using Apostolopoulos, as said. These are two app servers, network load balancing by Microsoft. This is a standard installation with lots of hard drives in it. So the system never went down. We have it as a production system, as a dedicated system, and also as a virtualized test system as well, where we can test updates and so on. Yes, we implemented the security at the network level, of course, yes. That's the way we did it. Yeah. Well, this is the examination platform. I think you should go and test it yourself. I will provide the link. I will just search it. So there are many possible question types integrated. They're doing a big update in March of the whole platform. I don't know, it's worth to wait. I would also check it at the moment. So the L+ company is the de facto market leader when it comes to education in the aeroplane and the aeroplane business. So almost any airplane school in Europe is using L+ for the education of the pilots. Yeah, how can we reduce the risk of cheating was one of the posed questions. Randomization of question order and so on. We also have a secure browser that detects being run in a VM and so on, but the thing is we don't need that secure browser, because we allow that in a secure examination, we allow it only being performed in that examination room. Stability comes from the fact that we have a permanent connection to the examination server. Everything that the students type into their screen gets saved on the server at least every 30 seconds. So we also have a revision system behind the constructed responses. It means we can see how the answers have been generated, how they changed and so on, and at what certain point they probably became similar to what the neighbor wrote, but we never had that as well, because all of them are mainly focused on their own screens. So yes, that was a kind of fast run through all the topics that we are doing here at the Freie University. I have prepped some of the links here. There is the link to the e-learning magazine article as well. I don't think it would be translated very well using Google, but you could try it anyway. So, but the most substantial information I already put into that to that slide that you have seen here. I will also provide the link to L+, which is here. And yes, I say thank you very much for listening, and we're now open for questions. You there, Matthew?
Yes, sorry. I'm copying and pasting links for people, so
okay,
caught me unawares there a little bit, yeah. Okay, folks, so if you'd like to ask further questions, please pop them into the text chat, or use the raising hand symbol under your name at the top of the participants list if you'd like to use your microphone.
You're all overwhelmed, right? Yes, Rebecca.
Rebecca, just press the talk button.
Yeah, got it. I'd really be interested in a link or your calculations of the saviors that you got for the marking, because we actually have separate markers and paying a lot of money for it, so it'd be very interesting.
Well, okay, let me search it. I will provide it in a second. We have
Yeah, would you like to talk again, Rebecca? Go ahead.
No, I'm just waiting. I'm still, although I've been following quite a few of these webinars, I'm still trying to get used to this technology. So I'll just forget.
Okay. So give me a second. I will. Okay, it's here. So you can download it here.
Okay.
Okay.
All these links are captured in the text chat, so we will publish the text chat along with the session recordings in due course as well.
Yes, great.
Okay, great. So then, in case anybody has any questions, you can also drop us emails and so on. We're very interested in connecting to the community of who is doing the examinations worldwide. So this is something that we're very interested in. So thank you very much from Berlin.
Could you type your email address in there so people can get to you?
Of course.
Whilst Nicolas is typing that in, if you could, yep, thank you, Nick. If we can please click the feedback link on the main slide there. That link is actually clickable this time, as opposed to all the others that were not. So thanks. Given this is the last session in our conference series for this year, it will be great to get some feedback. We will, of course, be back again early next month for our regular monthly Transforming Assessment webinar series, which is going to be on accessible e-assessments.
Okay, great. We like that. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you, Nick. Thank you, Alexander. I'm going to stop the recording now, and we will thank you, everybody. Good night, good day, good morning, wherever you happen to be.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you to all of you, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, and have a good night, Matthew, then.